Hello everyone, welcome to another UFC Fight Night review. This is UFC Fight Night Brunson versus Machida at the Ginásio de Ibirapuera, or the UFC No Combate Arena in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And I apologize if this video is appearing a bit later. It took me a couple of tries of getting my camera to work out to restart my laptop, then I had to shut it down and load it back up. The second thing worked, so I should have just done that in the first place, really. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to get right into the card. So we kick things off in grand fashion with Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos against Max Griffin, and this gets a huge up for me. It was fight of the night, and it was the first fight that I got to see. It was a really, really good way to kick off the prelims. It really was deserving fight of the night because all the fights after this weren't terrible, but they really didn't match up to this. And Dos Santos and Max Griffin both put in absolutely stunning performances. Dos Santos won by unanimous decision, but it was a damn close match. It was a lot of fun to watch. And I'm glad that Dos Santos won in the unanimous decision way that made it seem close, because he got two 29-28 and one 29-27 round. So, yeah, it was a really, really well balanced fight. I think the right guy won in the end, and it was a really good fight. Might or might not be in my top 10 of the year, but I really, really enjoyed it. So, yeah, gets an up, and it's a really, really good way to start the card, so can't complain. Regrettably, we do kind of hit the first down of the night. I'm Simon Miller from What Culture, and this is why. And Jordan, was it Jordan? Yes, Jared Gordon against Hakran Diaz, and Gordon won by unanimous decision. It was a fairly easy fight for him, really. Diaz was made to look like an amateur, which is kind of a shame because Diaz is really good. He's probably the most underrated Brazilian fighter, in my opinion. I really, really like him, but he doesn't really get many chances to shine, and he wasn't given a lot of chance in this one. Saying that, though, for the first time I've seen Gordon fight, he looked really impressive. He got some great takedowns, did some great ground and pound work, and there were a couple of times in the fight where many people thought the referee was going to stop the fight. The referee for this fight, I don't remember his name, but he was bad at his job. And, another thing I remember about this fight, during the corner time between rounds 1 and 2, I remember more specifically, Jose Aldo was in Hakran Diaz's corner, and Aldo was giving him an ice bag, trying to calm him down and stuff. But there was a hole in the ice bag, and it kept spilling water everywhere. And you could see the water, you could actually see the water hit Diaz's body, and it was really, really kind of funny how they didn't notice that. Oh, I think they did dry him off with the towel, because if they did let him go in there with water, he would probably be a lot harder to catch on to. But that didn't really seem to bother Gordon because he won the fight anyway, so yeah, it does get a down because it was super one-sided and not the most exciting fight, but it did what it needed to do, and Gordon really impressed me, so yeah. Next up, it's two absolute fan favourites, Antonio Carlos Jr., a fan favourite in Brazil, against Jack Marshman, a favourite in Wales. And Carlos Jr. won at 4 minutes 30 in round 1 with a rear naked choke. It was a fairly back and forth fight up until this point, but Carlos was landing the better shots. Oh, pardon me. He managed to get a really, really good takedown, smothered Marshman, and Marshman eventually gave his back and gave up the rear naked choke, and he tapped pretty quickly. And it was a really, really fair. It was a fair fight, as if they're not all fair fights. It was a fair call by the ref to have called it off at that point. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this. It does get up for me, and Antonio Carlos Jr. is awesome. I like watching him fight. Marshman is also awesome. He's not going to suffer a lot from this loss, so it's really kind of win-win. I wouldn't have been disappointed either way. So yeah, on to the last card of the prelims. Last fight of the prelims, sorry. And we close off the prelims with another up, as the fight between Vicente Luque and Nico Price was really, really good. And Luque won, really, really well done, by submission with a Dutch choke in round 2 at 4 minutes and 8 seconds. And it was a really, really good fight. I mean, Vicente Luque has proven why he's one of the most vicious young fighters to come out of Brazil. I love watching him fight. He's definitely building momentum. I definitely feel like he could be a champion soon, but yeah, he showed really, really good in this fight. He opened up with good kicks on Price in round 1, and just eventually managed to get his striking combinations off. He's a dangerous puncher, is Luque. dangerous and accurate, especially to the body. It was a body shot that actually knocked down Bryce and led to Luque jumping on him. Landed some more strikes. Price got up, but it wasn't anything for Luque to get a dodge choke while standing, then take him down and sink in the submission to really squeeze it in, and Price was forced to stop. And once again, it's not a loss. It's a win-win situation. As I mentioned, it's already an up. And Nico Price, I do kind of enjoy watching him fight, even though this is only his second fight. But I can't remember, did he win his last one? To the magic of Wikipedia. Yes, he did. He beat Alan Jobin by TKO. And he got promoted the night for it, so... Ooh. But not so lucky this time, but hey, Vicente Luque won. Which I'm fine with, because I like Luque, he's really, really good. So, yeah, onto the main card now. Before we go on, there is something I did forget to mention. So, how I recorded it normally, but it was only when looking this card up to review it now, while actually looking up earlier after the event was finished, so I could see who got what awards and stuff, that I realised that during the prelim section that I recorded, only 2 of the fights were actually part of that, which were the fights between Dos Santos and Griffin and Jared Gordon and Hooker and Diaz. And then, for some reason, as part of the main card, Luque against Price and Carlos Jr. against Marshman were counted kind of as far as that, because they were in the same video. Same bit, like, of recording, even though they were also prelim fights, so that kind of threw me off. But anyway, onwards to the main card now. Sorry for wasting your time with this. So we kick things off with another Brazilian favourite of mine in John Lineker. Yes, he is Brazilian. He does not sound like okay, he does sound like a footballer. Yeah, against Marlon Vera, and Lineker won pretty handily. I mean, Vera is a lot taller, but Lineker packs a lot of strength for someone who's a foot shorter than I am. I'm 6'3". Well, now I am. I measured myself the other day. I'm really tall now. Yay! And Lineker is 5'3", so I would tower over him, and I would not want to fight him, because he would kill my head. He would just kill my head with one punch. I don't want to have my head killed. I like my head. I don't want it to be killed. I want it to be very, very much alive. He did get a good few knockdowns on Marlon Vera, but really nothing enough to mount a true offense to finish him, which is a shame because he had many chances, but it was an alright fight. It does get an up at the end of the day. So, yeah, right guy won. Can't complain. Onwards and upwards, I guess. I did just remember another thing kind of quickly about the Jericho and Hooker and Diaz fight. Near the end of round 2, obviously, there were a couple of almost stoppages, and many people thought that the fight was over by the end of round 2. It was not, and it was continued, and the referee had to explain that. And it was also almost ended near the end of round 3 with Gordon having Diaz being on top of Diaz and like almost finishing him, and the ref jumping in to sort of touch him, and Gordon looked up like, is it over? But then it wasn't. So that was confusing. But anyway, on to this fight, which is Thiago Santos versus Jack Hermansson. 2 light heavyweight beasts. Are they light heavyweights? I just have to make sure. No, they're middleweights. I'm an idiot. But yeah, 2 middleweight beasts. Just ignore what I said. And this was bound to be an absolute brawl, and it was, even though it didn't even last the full round. 1 second left in round 1. Santos won by TKO, and it was a brutal fight. Both of them were fairly back and forth. It does kind of get a runner-up for Fight of the Night from me. It does get an up as well. It was a really enjoyable fight, but Santos just had that one perfect shot and finished the man, and it didn't really take him long. I mean, just under 5 minutes, that's not long to knock someone out. Although we will see a few faster finishes soon. I may have spoiled the card there, but I didn't tell you who won. And also, if you're watching this, you've probably seen the card, and you know who won anyway, so I really haven't spoiled anything, so you can't get mad. And I can't be mad at this fight. It was an up. It was a really, really enjoyable fight for as long as it lasted. Santos got a good win. Hermansson is not going to suffer from a loss, so yeah, onwards. Onwards we shall go. Unfortunately, onwards does not mean upwards, as the next fight was probably my least favourite on the card, with Jim Miller against Francisco Trinaldo. Now, Trinaldo can put on a good fight when he wants to, and Jim Miller is sort of a fight of the night king, but this fight was just really, really boring. I believe Trinaldo won? Yes, he did. By a decision. It was a close one though, 20-28 all across the board. but fucking hell, it was kind of a boring fight to watch. It was my least favorite on the whole card. Jim Miller. It's weird seeing Jim Miller put on Fight of the Night like time after time, and then just turning up with this. It wasn't a great fight. There was way too much clinching and grappling going on for that to be exciting. There wasn't enough striking stuff. I guess well, obviously Trinaldo had the best strikes if he won. But yeah, this was a really boring and memorable fight, and it gets it down for me. It was really, really just not exciting at all. So it's sad to say because I really like Jim Miller. I really like Francisco Trinaldo, but they just couldn't really put on a great fight. So, yeah. You can't always be on top of your game, I guess. However, we do set things up again with a really, really good fight between Pedro Munoz and Rob Font. Munoz won by submission with a guillotine choke at 4 minutes 3 seconds of round 1, and it was pretty good. Pardon me, it was a really good showing. Font showed why he's so underrated as well. Even though he lost the fight, he is really fun to watch. Same with Pedro Munoz. These are two fighters that were bound to really, really put on a great fight, and they did. Once again, for as long as it lasted, it was really good. See, even short fights can be really, really, really good, and this was an example of that. So, yeah, Munoz won. It was great back and forth striking. Munoz managed to get the better of it eventually. Really managed to sit down and get a good guillotine in, and managed to get the win. So, yeah, I mean, it gets up. Really, really no complaints. Neither man is, Rob Font is not going to suffer from the loss. Really entertaining fight. And on to the co-main event now. Next is the co-main event of the evening between Demian Maia and Colby Covington, and this gets a down. It was pretty subpar. Although round 1 was pretty good because Maia was using a lot more stand-up strikes than we're used to seeing him using. But that tied him out for the second 2 rounds, even though he did open a nasty cut on Covington's right eye and caused him to bleed off his face. Then later on in round 3, Covington managed to get the advantage and make Demian bleed quite a lot all over his face and not just over his right eye. So, yeah, it wasn't a great fight, to be honest. It was a subpar co-main event. Both fighters did as much as they could do, especially considering how tired they were by the time round 2 started. Sorry. And Covington just eventually managed to get the better of mine. He managed to dodge his takedowns, counter with good shots and ground pound stuff, and obviously opened him up with I think it was an elbow. And there was just blood everywhere. So, yeah, this does still get it down for not being as good as it could have been. But it did its job. So, and I guess I am happy that Maia's not going to suffer from loss because he's had a good string so far. I do hope he's not retiring, though. No, he's still going. He's still fighting. That is a good sign. So, yeah, without much further ado, let's go on to the main event between Derek Brunson and Lyoto Machida. And we reach the main event, but before I mention it, I should probably bring up the fact that Pedro Munoz was one of the men who get performance of the night. The other one was Derek Brunson in this main event. Holy crap. Okay, I'm starting to like Derek Brunson more and more every time I see him fight because he knows how to just knock people the fuck out. Yeah, he won by knockout in round 1, if that wasn't, easy to tell. Halfway through, like at the exact halfway point, 2 minutes 30. Yeah, he just outclassed Machida, kept swarming on him, eventually managed to get a good knockdown, landed a good punch to fall him, to make him fell him, whatever you want to say. And then followed up with some ground pound punches, and then the referee stopped the fight, and the entire crowd. You gotta remember, this was in Brazil. Brazil is very passionate about things, especially their mixed martial artists. So seeing their hero in Lyoto Machida, the Dragon, get slain by Derek Brunson, you could have heard a pin drop. The entire crowd was silent to the point of it almost being deafening. It was really creepy. Awesome, but creepy. And I mean, Derek Brunson, fair props to him, even though he did knock Machida out, he did go back over to him when United hadn't gone up and was checking up on him to make sure it was alright. Class act as Brunson. Really liked seeing that. But yeah, he got a really good win, and really good way to cap off the card. Does get an up, and he got performance tonight for it, so can't complain. And yeah, on the whole, this is just a really fun card. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, a couple of fights were not fantastic, but yeah, you can't always win it. You can't always have them all, unless you're UFC 217. In which case, I hope Bisping keeps his title. Please keep your title. But that's next week. I won't see you next week. Well, I will see you next week, but I'm going to see you before that. Is what I meant to say. Because New Ultimate Fighter is back. Because with it being the baseball season thing, like sometimes I'll get an episode, sometimes I won't. So yeah, I'll see you all Thursday, hopefully for that. Don't know when I turned Australian. And I guess there's really nothing else to say except for my sign off, which is thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.